Round 2 of the UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup for the elite women gets underway. Jen Jackson, trademark strong start, but look at Ronja Blurtlinger to the front now in the purple of Live Factory Racing.
Candice Lill getting shuffled back, all the way back into the 20s, so a poor start for her. Here's Blurtlinger taking on Maxwell coming up the outside.
As they head up the climb, tortuously steep. Double kick this, Ollie, to get things underway.
Yeah, it's a really tough climb. 25% at the top of this one, and it's Maxwell.
Maxwell at
full
the
of
front,
confidence.
on the #1 bike, on the Rock Rider, on the Decathlon Ford squad.
And in the top of this climb, they go left onto a cobbled road.
Candice Lill on the #8 bike, working her way around the outside, not as far up as we might have expected her, but plenty of time left in this one. Loana Lecomte in the national champions jersey of France on the left-hand side of your shot now as well, looking to move into a good position. And there's Jen Jackson just behind Lecomte. Steger's in the mix, as is Risfids. Keller's still there. There's the A-line on the left, rider's left, excuse me, goes off that. Oh, Loana Lecomte.
Taking the front wheel off Risved's. I think Risved's doing the A-line and Lecomte doing the B. It was faster.
Taking the wing mirrors off Jenny Risfids as she blasted past her on that descent round side of the tree. She's all laughs, but absolutely merciless when she needs to be, as Ronja Blurtlinger on clips and bobbles right into the way of the race leader.
This is a horrible section, big tree roots. But the pace from Locke in his first lap, and especially on the descent, really putting pressure and stretching everyone out. We see Alessandra Keller, 6'7", super experienced, super consistent, but having to work so hard just to stay in this line.
Well, for all the efforts of Blurtlinger, Lecomte, Risfids have matched her every pedal stroke off the way. Risfids' fastest lap of lap 1 equal to that of Lecomte. So they head onto the base of this climb. And again, Samara Maxwell taking this one on from the front. Great to see the red jersey of the overall points leader in there, mixing it early doors. Jenny Risfids in that inscrutable style just sat down.
Again, high temperatures, humidity still on the higher side, so riders going to have to be really careful in these opening laps. If that core body temperature just starts to rise a little bit, once it gets too high, the brakes go on and you're just forced to slow down. So it's worth being conservative, I think, in this race.
Jenny Risfids, Samara Maxwell, Candice Lill, Loana Lecomte, Lyra Steger through your shot as well. Very, very different course out there today. Which of these two Araxá tracks would you have preferred?
I think last week we had a more fun, more speedful course, and for today it's a very, very hard course. We are on lap 2 now, and you can see that riders are already feeling the effort. We can see the gaps just happening at the moment.
Jen Jackson joining this group as well, and she's brought everyone else with her, so they are back together again at the front of this one as they head towards the end of lap 2 out of 9 here in Araxá. 9 laps of journey, Ollie. Big race.
Yeah. And it's amazing. They had a 9-second gap coming into this descent, and it just shows that bit. They hit the grass and they just back off a little bit. They don't need to attack. They don't just expend any energy, and then it all just comes back together. But
and as ever, this is very much what we've seen from Jenny Risfids in 2025. She takes these things on from the front and likes to be kind of the decision maker at the front of the group.
Let's see.
There's a visual on that gap. Yolanda Neff on the #5 on your screen now. Samara Maxwell in third. They're all just about back together now as we see Zena Fry bridging the gap. Evie Richards on the #10 behind her. Then it's Blunk.
Risved's applying the pressure. That front three just pulling clear again. Lecomte, Maxwell just getting back on terms.
There is a gap, but we saw on the last lap, on second lap, if you really want to make a decisive move, you need to invest a little bit more. You need to go deeper. Otherwise, they're going to get back together and be on your wheel at the finish line.
There we go. Repeat of the lap before. The front feet happy just to let off the gas. Not in a rush. We'll take a bottle to cool down.
And Richards now in 9th as well. So all back together again. Jenny Risfids leads them up the climb. Samara Maxwell, the shoulders starting to oscillate. Loana Lecomte alongside her. They're all together.
And it's still that front three that are, they're making themselves all, they're stamping their authority on the race every time you hit the climb. Really interesting this lap. That front three haven't pulled as much of a gap this one. So Jen Jackson and Evie are still in contention.
The group have come back to them at the end of most laps, but they tend to then ride off the front of it again. But Rissvid's now starting to build a bit of a gap back to Maxwell. Kiwi needs to get this one covered off. Jen Jackson has been fourth for most of it as well. So now we see if Jenny Rissvid just sits up and allows this to come back together again, or will she push on around the lake in this grassy section?
And again, just the pace comes off at the front. I think that's going to... Richards is going to be able to get back on blocking a Fry, Steger, Kohler.
Jenny Rissvid heads across the line alone for the first time in this race. What is the gap going to be? It's looking chunky. It's looking bigger than 5 seconds to my eyes.
And that was Rissvid's fastest lap of the race so far, 9:35.
Yes, 12 seconds. 12 seconds now. Alarm bells should be ringing in the ears of Luana Lecomte and this chase group as Jenny Rissvid is making a break for it here on Araxá.
You know, to get the gap wasn't so big, everyone else sat up a little bit, but it's Richards who's taking it on now.
You do need to cooperate now because with half of the race done, if you give some space to Rissvid, especially because she has the speed on the transitions and she's moved everywhere on the course, if you allow her to build a gap and to recover and to apply her style around the lap, it's job done.
It was interesting, she didn't really need to attack, it just kind of drifted off the front a bit. Everyone then, I think Lecomte didn't chase, everyone looked at Lecomte to do the job.
It really is a case of first person to blink on this track layout in Araxá, isn't it? One little let up. It's Maxwell taking the climb on now as Henrik Avancini makes the international signature move of the motorbike at full throttle.
Sammy Maxwell now at full speed.
Wow, that's Samara charging on the chase.
Samara Maxwell trying to drive it on back towards Jenny Rissvid. We said right at the top of this race that this track suits her. Look at this effort from Samara Maxwell. That is why she is leading the UCI World Cup overall title chase.
And you see Luana Lecomte, full grimace now. That last lap, it was almost a poker face up here. Now she's at maximum effort.
27 seconds now.
27 seconds. It's continuing to go out now. The rest of them all still circulating largely together. You see Luana Lecomte just flat landed that little gap jump, but Samara Maxwell looking like she's not capable of closing this down from Jenny Rissvid. We should say, as always, cross-country racing, you're one puncture or a broken wheel away from disaster. But so far, the Swedish national champion from Canyon Collective, Jenny Rissvid, looking extremely punchy here. Lap 5 out of 9 in Araxá, round 2. There she is, your race leader. Here we go. A big, big number is about to appear alongside the name of Samara Maxwell. 34 seconds, it's gone up.
And it's lunchtime in that second group.
Just 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm wondering now, as we see Tamara Wiedmann on the 31 bike for Mondraker Factory Racing Attack.
Well,
the group is back together. So is that little roll through of Jen Jackson, a signal Samara Maxwell looking like she might be just settling back into the group slightly. 35 seconds it's saying now.
Wiedmann as well, really piling on the pressure. That Mondraker squad.
Look at the effort here. Full gas from Tamara Wiedmann. Samara Maxwell trying to get back across to her.
Yeah, the rider pulling faces. Luana Lecomte now paying for those early efforts.
Jenny Rissvid, though, class the field, we should state, still out front by some margin. 32 seconds currently the gap between her and second place. There she is. There is that monstrous gap behind her.
We've still got 3 of these climbs left to do.
And on a day like today, as hot as it is in Araxá, the efforts these elite women have put in.
And I think there was early doors, you had Maxwell, Lecomte, Rissvid showing themselves the strongest climbers today. And but then Rizved's just putting the pressure on, and it's made it a really, really hard race for this field.
Big ride from the woman on your screen now, Evie Richards as well, up in 5th place. Looks like she's been down as well. Jen Jackson actually fastest on lap 7.
You're thinking the fastest lap of this race so far, Wiedmann.
Look at Wiedmann kicking again up this climb.
Rizved's is so impressive. Looks like she's out for a fast practice lap, just linking these laps together. And we see there a 9:40s, 9:36, 9:31. 3 of the fastest laps have come from Rizved so far. Jen Jackson just coming past before the top of the hardest climb on the circuit.
Tamara Wiedmann writing her name large across this race, really. It wasn't just a springboard attack that came to nothing. She really has stayed towards the front, but now, as I say that, Samara Maxwell attacks both her and Jen Jackson.
See Evie Richards in the background doing a really, really good ride. Had a consistent race, always been between that 5th and 10th position, coming through strong.
But look at this, talk about revelations. Final lap for Jenny Rizved in Araxá. It has been total mountain biking from this woman.
And she's not slowing down, a 9:42 lap to Jackson and Maxwell, the fastest on the last lap at 9:35. Let's see where they're at this one.
Maxwell will have the psychological boost of leading them across the line.
9:43 for Maxwell and Jackson. They lost a second to Rizved on that lap.
There are going to be some tired and battered bodies at the end of this one. Jenny Rizved is really the first shot we've seen her breathing heavily in all race long. Lap 9 out of 9 here in Araxá. Maxwell now on the attack, heading for 2nd place here.
Yeah, for Maxwell as well. She's descending really. Oh,
Jenny Rizved, it's starting to show. The cracks are starting to show, but it may well be too late for everyone else. 37 seconds is the gap by our screen. Absolutely superb from Jenny Rizved. It's been a while since we saw a performance like this. Behind her, Jackson, Maxwell, Wiedmann still battling. Maxwell currently 2nd place. Jackson in 3rd, Richards 4th, Wiedmann in 5th.
But Richards carrying good speed through this section. She can just see Jackson on the corners. Wiedmann as well, doing a career best ride at the moment, 5th position.
Jenny Rizved has been absolutely unstoppable. Jenny Rizved is going to win the Battle of Araxá. What a result! What a demonstration of strength, bike riding and racecraft. Jenny Rizved wins round 2 of the UCI Cross Country Olympic World Cup in Araxá, Brazil. Behind her though, here we go, battle shaping up. Samara Maxwell's going to take 2nd place, but who's going to take 3rd? It's going to be Evie Richards. Evie Richards outguns Jen Jackson on the line. Evie Richards rewarded with a podium finish. Tamara Wiedmann home in a personal best of 5th place as well for her. And there is your top 3 today. Rizved, Maxwell and Richards. 1, 2, 3 here in Brazil.
Let's pump the court, ladies. Well deserved.